And welcome back, everyone. Welcome. I hope you all enjoyed those lovely duck tapes. I almost went through everyone that we have. Almost went through everyone. But yes, RunaMoK versus Vivid did go the distance. It did. Oh, they were in a very long macro game, but RunaMoK did take the series in the end. And now we are here in our qualifying match. Everyone in the chat, predictions are now open. You have 3 minutes upon hearing this message to place your bets on who you think is going to qualify for the main event. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have one of those players. We have the Australian Protoss representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is StarDuck. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have his opponent, the #1 seed of the entire qualifier, representing himself and apparently Robin. The Australian Terran, he's red, he is RunaMoK. Let's go, Papi, let's go. You can place your bets. As a reminder, these are predictions for the series, not the game. So we are predicting who will qualify overall. Oh boy, who is going to come out on top? I do believe this is going to be pretty close. So these two players are very comparable in skill. Of course, RunaMoK being the best Terran in the entire qualifier, StarDuck being the best Protoss. But it is no surprise. It is no secret that StarDuck struggles in this matchup. I think it's more of a mental block than anything, to be honest. Like, StarDuck, he's amazing, he's beautiful, he's a very smart player, very strategic, very micro-oriented. But there's just something about Terran that when he plays against it, like, he has a hard time. He has a hard time. I'm not saying he's not going to win this series. I'm going to say it's an uphill battle both physically and mentally for StarDuck. Can he overcome the might of the Terran? We're here to find out. We are here to find out. RunaMoK did really well for himself, by the way, in packs as well. He wasn't quite able to make it into the top 4, but he had a good result and a good showing anyway. We were all able to meet up and have a great time. Everyone at PAX was amazing. It was great. Unfortunately, there were some people that weren't able to be there. StarDuck, you know, stuck in Sydney. Feels bad, man. Wasn't able to come down to Melbourne. But now we have that matchup that we were deprived of at PAX Australia, if StarDuck was one to qualify. And we'll see where this all takes us. For the time being, we have a Stargate opener here from StarDuck. Would you have a Stargate opener here from StarDuck? Kind of what we expect on a larger map like this. Of course, we are on Cosmic Sapphire, one of, if not the largest map in the map pool. It does lead to longer games, and StarDuck has the freedom to go into Oracles, to maybe even go into Phoenixes from here. There's a reason why Asher isn't here, by the way, because if he was, he'd be smoging right now. He'd be talking about how, oh my god, Phoenix Colossus, why doesn't every Protoss player go for it? It's such a brutal composition. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. You know, Phoenix Colossus can be really difficult to deal with. You get so much map control with the Phoenixes, and the Colossi just shut down any kind of bioaggression that the Terran tries to go for, if that is to be the case, if StarDuck does go that route. Meanwhile, we do see RunaMoK opening up with a 1-1-1, is going to be delaying his CC a little bit as it was a 2-gas opener, and we are going straight into our Widow Mines. Medevac going to be on the way here. Meanwhile, the Oracle is going to be able to clean up one of these Reapers. The second Reaper is going to slip into the main base, and we see a full scout, and this is pretty important. The Reaper doesn't just confirm the Stargate, which we knew earlier because of the Oracle, but he even sees the Phoenixes. As a result, the Widow Mines are set up here to try and catch that Oracle when it comes across the map, and it is on the way, so StarDuck has to be a little bit careful here. I'm loving the positioning, especially of this second Widow Mine outside the natural base. Oh god, StarDuck is okay. He diverges his path towards the north, and he threads the needle. He makes his way through these. Oh, but did I speak too soon? He makes his way through these Widow Mines for the time being. Oh my god, I don't believe he actually knows where they are. He just happens to go through the middle. The Cyclone is able to push him back, and he doesn't get caught by those Widow Mines. Meanwhile, back at home, the Phoenix count is getting higher and higher. Also, I believe, yeah, I really like this from RunaMoK. He actually cancelled the medevac when he scouted the Phoenix. He recognized that the likelihood of him getting a Widowmine drop off wasn't going to be very high, so he started a Viking instead. Meanwhile, with his heli, he's going to go across the map, get eyes on this third base. Gonna recognize that this is, of course, on the way. Recognize that StarDuck isn't going for a 2-base all-in or anything of that nature. The Phoenix count is going to get higher and higher, and we have charge behind this. Interesting. So there are some players that will go for like this Phoenix opener into a faster Robo to get into faster Colossus, but it seems like StarDuck is being a little bit safer instead. Still investing in a gateway army. Meanwhile, the Oracle across the map. The Oracle is going to be going across the map, sorry. I don't believe the Widowmines have been revealed yet, so StarDuck has to be a little bit careful. He does have his Adept. Going to be shading, checking that wall. Oh. Ay. And we'll see where things go from here. We have a Forge on the way as well. Interesting that we have a Forge and more gateways. So, again, StarDuck, despite being scouted that he's going into Phoenixes, he's going for a very gateway-heavy composition. Not so much on the splash damage, and we'll see if he is able to get away with this. Meanwhile, Marauder production has commenced. We have our 3 Raxes as we usually do see. As a proxy gateway is being set up, Scan is going to reveal the Templar archives. This should be a bit of a tell that we don't have a Robotics Bay. And he was also even able to see the Zealots as they came through the main in towards the third base. So RunaMoK should be able to piece together that there are not just Phoenixes, but also Charge Lots and soon to be Archons as well. With that, Widowmine production is going to continue. Quickly checking the Widowmine count here. He's only just making his 3rd and 4th Widowmine now. So Phoenixes do move out. I love it. The delayed Widowmine drop is actually going to be able to bypass these Phoenixes. Meanwhile, a revelation on that main army. Phoenixes do pick up the Cyclone. But they're going to be flirting here with the mineral line, and they are going to commit. They are going to be able to get some of these SCVs. Oh, 5, 6, 7 SCVs going down, and so far none of the Phoenixes have paid the price for it. Even fighting more workers here at the Natural. Ay, this is getting really out of hand. The Marines are having a hard time keeping up. Meanwhile, across the map, the Widowmine drop is on the way, but these Widowmines, they have to get a lot of damage done if they want to equalize. I don't know if they can. Meanwhile, we have +1 defense on the way for StarDuck. This will help those charges getting on top of the Bio army. Meanwhile, Widowmines are dropping in towards that mineral line. Up. Ooh. Widowmines do drag in 4 probes. Not bad damage, but it is for the life of the Widowmines and the medevac. Everything is going to get cleaned up. The Phoenixes, for the most part, I don't think a single Phoenix has died. Yeah, not a single Phoenix has died this game. StarDuck just having his way with RunaMoK. We even have that proxy set up towards the northern side of the map. Zealots are going to be on the way. RunaMoK not quite getting eyes on it. He does have a 3rd CC. He is looking to expand behind this. He's going to be going into a faster Ghost Academy as well. I do really appreciate this. You know, Ghosts, they have their place, especially against both Zealots and Archons. EMPs will completely decimate the HP or the shields of all of these units. Oh boy, but we'll see how that engagement does come together. Meanwhile, it feels like StarDuck is getting ready for a bit of a surround. His main army is going to be coming in towards the south. His Zealot reinforcements are going to come in towards the north. Okay, the Widowmines! Oh no! Oh my god, the Widowmine drag as well. 2 Phoenixes going down, another Widowmine shot going off, and it looks like RunaMoK has been able to rotate to meet up this army. StarDuck. Oh, his army really getting softened up after that engagement. I don't think he really wants to commit here, but he's distracting the army right now. I don't think he really wants to go for a fight. I say that as he pushes in. At the same time, the Zealots just eviscerate the mineral line at the 3rd. Oh, it is going to cost StarDuck his Archons, though. Both Archons are going to be going down. Meanwhile, that was a kill on the 3rd. RunaMoK was a little bit too distracted. He was a little bit too focused on the main fight, and this is going to cause him to go all in. Losing a CC like that, there is no way to recover. There we go. The boys are being pulled. RunaMoK has to end the game here and now. I do kind of like this because there are no Colossi, there's no Storm, there's no easy way to deal with all of these SCVs. But there are Archons though, and Chargelots, they kind of want to be in melee range as well. Oh god, it's going to be a really interesting fight here as they get on top of the Ghosts. They get on top of everything here, as I don't think we even see an EMP. The Ghosts are going to be going down. Widowmines are going to be burrowing here. Oh, they do go off. The Archons, are they going to be enough to clean up all of these Marines? It looks like they barely will not. RunaMoK, he takes the fight. He pushes on forward. That did cost him all of those SCVs. And again, if he wasn't all in before, he's all in now. Meanwhile, StarDuck, he pulls back to the safety of his shield batteries. He's got overcharge. He's got another warping of Zealots available to him as well. Actually goes for a Zealot run by across the map instead. Bold move. Catching those reinforcements. I believe RunaMoK has, yep, he's only got one Ghost remaining here. He does get that EMP, does get all the Zealots. Oh, but we have an overcharge to top them up. And even if these Widowmine shots go off, and they do not, they get dragged forward as well. A little bit of friendly fire. A decent Widowmine shot there. A lot of the Zealots are going down. Liberators are going to slowly leapfrog forward. The Bio Army is pretty strong. RunaMoK is ahead in army supply. Yo, can he actually pull this off? The Zealots stay close to distance. Oh, a lot of fire goes down. Like, these Archons are having a hard time dealing with the Liberators. Another Archon goes down. The Libs are really putting in a lot of work. But Phoenix production has commenced once again to help deal with this. Unfortunately, only 3 probes get picked off, so StarDuck's economy is still looking quite flawless. And with that economy, we have another warp in. We get on top of the Liberators. GG gets called, and StarDuck takes the first game. Oh boy, GG, and yeah, quite a solid game of 1 there from StarDuck, you know, going into his Oracle play, going into his Phoenixes, and yo, those Phoenixes did so much. As a reminder, those Phoenixes killed 14 SCVs, and not a single Phoenix died. RunaMoK, unfortunately, despite scouting the opener, he didn't have any missile turrets, his Widowmines weren't quite in position, and his Marines were having a hard time keeping up with all of those fast Phoenixes. Yeah, if you remember, the follow-up Widowmine drop was okay, I guess, but yeah, he just wasn't quite prepared defensively to deal with that mass amount of Phoenixes, and it did set StarDuck ahead. And then, of course, the moment when RunaMoK was forced all in was when those Chargelots just came in from the north and they just executed that CC. It's not something you see quite often. As we are now going to be getting into game number 2. To be fair, this is still a best of 5, so we got plenty of games ahead of us, and winning the first game isn't the most indicative thing of the series. It was quite a powerful game, but it was also Cosmic Sapphire, a large game, a game that you can get away with going into that mass Phoenix play without being punished too hard for it. Now we're going into a slightly smaller map. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have our Australian Protoss player representing the CranKy Ducklings, currently leading the series. It is StarDuck. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have our Australian Terran player. He is red, down 0-1 in this best of 5, but it's still a best of 5, plenty of games to come. It is RunaMoK. Boy, here we go. Getting into our second game, I don't believe that StarDuck is going to open Stargate here. Data C is still a macro-oriented map, don't get me wrong. You know, it is quite relatively easy to get up to 3-4 bases, to be able to defend as well with the high ground, with these site blockers in the middle of the map, slow down any kind of push. But I do think that it's important to switch things up in the middle of a series and keep your opponent guessing, keep your opponent in the dark. As we do see a probe scout coming across the map. Likewise, RunaMoK is going to be opening up with a Rax expand here. Only a single gateway, not going to be too concerned with walling off and keeping this probe back, and is instead going to be more concerned with expanding and taking this CC. Oh, and there we have it, StarDuck. I thought it was going to be a little bit annoying and throw down a pylon to block. Oh, no, that's exactly what he's going to do. The probe comes in, is going to dance with these SCVs, going to delay the CC for as long as possible. Is he going to get the pylon? No, he is not. Base is thrown down. Again, just a little bit annoying. Forcing a second SCV off the line here. Again, RunaMoK opening up in a very macro-oriented sense, especially compared to the last game where he went for the 1-1-1, if you recall. So is looking to get into his economy. And we'll see where StarDuck goes from here. I'm predicting Twilight Council, but we have seen a decent amount of, you know, robo-based openers or something else entirely. We see PattyMac go for a 2-gate instead. We're not going to be seeing that here, but, you know, it is always fun to see that 2-gate. Shout out to PattyMac as he did beat Clem yesterday. Feels good, man. Feels good. As StarDuck just gets his own base up and running, and yeah, relatively passive. And this is what I was curious about. We don't have a Stargate. We don't even have a Twilight Council. StarDuck, he goes for the robo first. Oh my god. And we have a couple of options from here, especially depending on how many gases we take. StarDuck from here, he can go for a fast robotics bay and go for a fast Colossi, which would be absolutely disgusting if he gets away with it. The Colossi count can get very high very quickly. Ooh, as the Adept does manage to shade away. Oh! Doesn't escape the clutches of the Reaper. Otherwise, if we see additional gateways, which for the time being we do not, we could be seeing a faster Warp Prism instead. There are the gates. As 2 more gates are thrown down here. So instead of Blink, we could be seeing a Prism instead. But RunaMoK, he slips into the main base, and this Reaper is going to confirm the Robo.
Add on for one little good it does.
Oh, shout out to the Alarak announcer. Oh my god, but it's not just 3 gates we have. Sorry, it's not just 2 gates here. We have 4 gates in total. 4-gate Warp Prism. It's kind of like a pseudo way to get Blink, a little bit more aggressive because you can warp in across the map, but this is all scouted by RunaMoK. For all he knows, there is a robotics bay behind this, so he's not fully aware of what is happening. He hasn't seen the gateway explosion yet, as RunaMoK goes for a 1-1-1, and he's going for a Banshee. Oh my god. Not your typical Raven opener. Very interesting. So these Banshees can do a lot of damage across the map. If you remember, if you were here yesterday, we got to see Seether versus StarDuck, and Seether completely pulled StarDuck apart on Moondance, I believe, with his Banshee control. So maybe going to be causing a little bit of PTSD once these Banshees do come out. Meanwhile, here come those Stalkers. StarDuck with those 4 gateways, he can warp in offensively across the map. He can look to deal some damage. We do have 1 tank in the main, no tank in the natural. Ooh, StarDuck, he finds out the hard way as he takes a tank shot to the face. Meanwhile, behind this, as StarDuck applies all this pressure, he is transitioning into that robotics bay to get into fast Colossi. He is going for a 3rd base as well. And due to this robo, he will have access to detection to deal with that Banshee once it comes out. Bearing in mind that we also had some pretty crucial scouting, StarDuck with his drop did see the tech lab researching, so he's fully aware of the Banshees. And that is why we see a shield battery both at the natural. We should be seeing a shield battery in the main base. The observer actually goes into observation mode in the main. You can see that he's very paranoid. He doesn't want to get overwhelmed by those Banshees. Oh, as the Stalkers do find their way into the natural base, this is what I was worried about. The tank just wasn't in position. Oh, 8 SCVs go down. We even see a recall to come all the way back home. Banshee does reveal itself, but with that recall, we have our Stalkers. 5 probes get picked off. Oh, a lot of economic damage. And the Banshee barely gets out of range of that Observer, sorry. Like, they're the same thing. Second Banshee actually goes through the path of these Stalkers, though. Do we have detection? Where's our detection, puppy? Ah. Second Banshee escapes. Meanwhile, the first one tries to dip in towards the natural. We do have that second Observer in observation mode. Oh, and actually, can he get the pylon? Yo, it's going to be huge if he does. Oh my god. A couple more shots away, and it looks like he will get away. Doesn't get the pylon. But StarDuck wants to hunt it down. He knows that the Banshee is going to run out of energy soon. Miscalculates, though. He will not intercept. Meanwhile, back at home, someone did not throw down a CC. RunaMoK, instead of going for a third CC, goes for 2 more hidden Raxes behind this. Oh my god, so he's going to be that much more aggressive. He's going to be wanting to hit a timing with our upgrades, with Stim, with Combat Shields, with +1. It's all going to be lining up here for a big push. Is RunaMoK even going to pull the boys? Part of me hopes so. But do we really want to pull boys against Colossi? That's the problem here. We do have a second Colossi already on the way. The Banshees were able to deal some damage and wreak a little bit of havoc. StarDuck is getting ready defensively. He's a little bit in the dark. He hasn't been able to scout. I think like the other important thing about what the Banshee is doing is that 2 observers are stuck at home instead of being out on the map. Usually we have an observer watching the third, watching the ramp to see if a big push is coming like this. And StarDuck sees nothing. StarDuck is stuck at home killing Banshees. Boy, and here we go. RunaMoK, he is sending it. We do have a third CC behind this. It just now starts as he moves out. But he is looking to break the third of StarDuck. Thankfully, StarDuck does have a spotter pylon at least. Meanwhile, oh my god, when do I jump into the main base? Ah, I did miss it. 7 probes are going to be going down, but in comes that main push. StarDuck, does he have enough to hold? Oh, the tanks siege up a little bit late. The tanks are going to be going down immediately. Oh my god. And with the death of those tanks, StarDuck, he swats this army away. Sure, he did lose a lot of probes to that drop. Don't get me wrong. RunaMoK does take a worker lead. But with this map control, StarDuck, I don't know if he's ever going to let RunaMoK expand. Ooh, meanwhile, 2 Banshees do one-shot these probes. 4 probes, 5 probes. Oh, okay, just 4 probes going to be going down. StarDuck pushing out across the map. There are no more tanks. He's not going to be forcing the issue. He's just focusing down at these supply depots. Oh, someone overstays. Welcome. Boys are being pulled. Oh my god, we see RunaMoK coming in from behind as well, getting on top of the Colossi. Oh, he gets 1, almost gets the second, but with the reinforcements, the second does stand strong. Oh, I love the drop play coming into as a flank here from RunaMoK. But again, he only gets 1 Colossi. We see a recall. Can he get it? Oh, he will. Great trades here for RunaMoK. Oh my god, these Banshees are being so annoying. Ah. There we go. Finally, the Banshees go down. They all get cleaned up. StarDuck, still behind in the worker count. Should be getting a 4th base soon, especially now that RunaMoK has landed his own 3rd on location. We have a double drop head towards the main base. Nothing here in position. No vision. No control of the Xel'Nagas. StarDuck only just now sending a Zealot in this direction, but it's too late. The drop gets past. We do have a Prism sneaking into the main base. I'm worried that if the Prism does get in, he's going to be using up his warp in across the map, and he's not going to have a recall to get back into the main. Wow, we just see the upgrades finishing up for StarDuck, going for 1-1. Working on his Colossi. We see a scan here. RunaMoK trying to get an eye on where the army is. Double drop, biding its time, waiting for the moment. And we'll see, there we go. It looks like the units have been revealed here in the middle of the map. RunaMoK should be pulling the trigger soon, as StarDuck is actually going to be reinforcing. StarDuck with no fourth base. I think he just wants to hit his timing with 1-1. There we go. In comes the drop into the main. And StarDuck, he has to pull the trigger. He's committed. The Colossi wasting a couple of shots here on the gas guys are not on the main army. The Archons are pushing through though. Finally the Colossi actually coming into play, but the Vikings take it down. With the death of the Colossus, is that going to be it? I don't think the Archons are going to be enough. Yeah, there's not enough on the ground. The Fire army stims on forward. The main base is completely forfeit. 20 SCVs did go down. The double drop now headed towards the natural. And I don't think StarDuck is going to have enough. He's crazy. He warps in across the map. He doesn't care, Papi. He's gonna kill so many workers here in the main base, and he takes the worker lead. He's doing it, Papi. Kind of. Sends a couple more zealots in towards the third base as well. He's actually pulling RunaMoK apart with a handful of zealots. At the same time, drop is coming back in. This time, StarDuck can warp in back at home defensively. We have the overcharge. And now StarDuck has 4 Nexi. 2-2 on the way. Colossus is coming out. StarDuck can rebuild. Actually. He's not dead yet. He was dying. Oh my god, no! He was dying as another Widowmite shot goes off in the main base. Meanwhile, the main army of RunaMoK is pushing on forward. He still has a pretty large supply lead. I do think that in a head-on engagement, maybe StarDuck can take a fight. Unfortunately, like, he's forced to commit to defend against this double drop, and his third is completely, it's bare, it's vulnerable, it's exposed, Buffy. And the third base may just go down. Ugh. StarDuck trying to engage with this Liberator. Oh my god! Almost takes down the Archon. Nexus is going to go down. At the same time, we have the double drop into the main base. StarDuck is really struggling to defend. Looks like he's going to be able to clean up the drops in the main. But the main push, though... That one Liberator is doing so much for RunaMoK. Both Archons go down immediately. EMP was on point. Oh, as finally RunaMoK is forced back. We're now even in workers. Oh, the Ghost, though. Up. Oh, Ghost goes down. But StarDuck does end up overextending here. RunaMoK just rallying everything that he has across the map. That one Widowmite is still going off. It's got 6 kills already. Jesus Christ. And it's all going to come down to this main push. Oh, my mistake. This main Doom drop, I should say. Oh. We could end up in a really weird base trade scenario, I guess, as RunaMoK is going for the Doom drop into the main base. We see StarDuck pushing up this ramp as well. But pushing up into a Liberator is always a difficult thing to do. And there's the drop. StarDuck is going to make a choice. He recalls back home. Recalls towards the fourth, not the main. The Robo is under threat. No more Colossi are going to be coming out here. At the same time, we do see a little bit of a Zealot run by, but the army, the reinforcements are going to be able to clean it up. And try as StarDuck might. It's been an uphill battle here for the past couple of minutes. The main. Oh, he leaves the main alone. Oof. Loses 2 medevacs. This is still pretty close. The army heavily overstimmed. Understimmed? What? The Robo survives. That Doom drop could have been a lot worse for StarDuck. A lot worse. And he's holding on. But RunaMoK's taking a fourth. I'm on some copium, Papi. I'm on some copium. We see a scan here. RunaMoK trying to get eyes on whether StarDuck has his own fourth. He's going to be cleaning up these rocks in the middle of the map so he can just rally that much harder. Ghosts keep coming out, Vikings as well. It's been quite scrappy. These fights have been pretty close. Every time StarDuck barely survives, but he's not living, he's surviving. I'm sure the 2-2 upgrades have really played their role here, played their part in StarDuck defending. But how do we come back from here? Unfortunately, StarDuck doesn't have a prism anymore, so he can't really harass across the map. He can't really do anything to force RunaMoK to go back home. That wouldn't mind. It's still there. Finally, it goes down. Ugh. Oh, a little bit of mispathing there. One Stalker goes down for free. It's all about the Colossi puppy. Another Widowmine jump in towards the fourth base. Ooh, doesn't go off. StarDuck does end up finishing his fourth. We'll be able to get his shield battery up and running. Should I just look at the units type instead? His EMPs blanket the army of StarDuck. Maybe because, as we do have a little bit of a flank coming in here. StarDuck coming in from behind, but his Archons get focused down. Colossi get exposed. The Vikings clean everything up, and finally, RunaMoK, it looks like, never mind. He still hasn't broken through. Finally, it looks like RunaMoK has broken through. The Colossi all go down. The Zealots as well. StarDuck is trying to warp in with what little he has, but GG gets called. And RunaMoK takes the second game. Oh my god. That was exhausting. That was brutal, Papi, as RunaMoK takes game number 2 finally and ties up the series 1 apiece. But I am no longer alone. Of course, Asher was busy competing and playing in the qualifier itself, and I was worried that I was going to have to do it all on my own. But no, not anymore, because the one, the only, I am being joined once again by the lovely Chase. Hello, Papi, hello.
I got you. Oh. Everyone thinks you were crazy for 3 seconds. Hello, Light. Hello. Is my microphone okay? Is it too loud?
It's. I mean, the guy that was a bit loud, but
sorry, that was a bit loud. Yeah. Hello. Light. Welcome, viewers, to this final best of 5. This is like the glory run where I just join for the end, where you've done all the hard work.
Yes, you come in at the end and you take all the credit, Papi. You take all the credit. But thank you so much for joining me. As you were saying, this is the first qualifying match for qualifier number 2 for ANZ Champs, and right now we're tied up 1-1.
That we are indeed, and Light, good to see you've got me on the board for a non-Zerg matchup here. Very kind of you.
Mate, you think you've had a hard time, mate? I've been forced to cast qualifiers where I'm being told Peppy, Chappy, and Oreo aren't here, and I'm like,
Oh,
like
Smurge,
this.
no one's here.
No one's here, Papi.
Speaking of, here's someone who is here, spawning in the bottom left light. He is an Australian Protoss, a representative of the CranKy Ducklings. It is StarDuck.
Oh my god.
I just dropped my water bottle.
It's quite an introduction. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have his opponent, the Red Terran player himself, tying up the series 1-1. It is RunaMoK.
What's Clan Robin?
I don't know.
Is he like Robin Hood? He takes points from the rich and gives them to the the poor.
He takes points from everyone, mate, and he hoards it for himself. He
hoards them, hoards the points.
hoards them, Bobby. He be robbing that qualifying spot, mate. That's what he wants right now. As RunaMoK this time is going to open up with a double gas opener here, so a little bit more aggressive. Is going to be keeping StarDuck in the dark though with that fast depot. So yeah, we'll see how this all plays out. To catch you up a little bit, I guess, Chase, in game number 1, StarDuck did what every Terran hates, and he went Mass Phoenix into Mass Phoenix.
Oh, when you said
shots.
what every Terran hates, I just thought about my Terran friends, and the possibilities were endless. So, but yeah, Mass Phoenix is one of those.
He made Lunkas?
He made he made Banelings? Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's crazy. He's cracked, puppy. How did he do it? Game number 2, he actually went for a robo opener instead. So StarDuck, he's been having a little bit of variety when it comes to his tech choices.
Indeed, as we see Gateway into Cybernetics Core, very, very innovative player, but yes, I see what you mean. Chrono boosting out and Adept, meanwhile, RunaMoK just scouting around, choosing to go for the barracks at home. Maybe he's kind of gone for too fast gas, but he's got 1 on one and 2 on the other, so I feel like maybe you just need a small boost of gas at the start. Actually, there he goes, he puts a couple on now. And a factory, so what do you think is going to come out here? Meanwhile, we have a Twilight going down, and scout denial by StarDuck.
Oh, yeah, honestly pretty important here for StarDuck to keep RunaMoK in the dark, especially because StarDuck has been mixing it up. You know, game 1 he went Stargate opener, game 2 he went Robo opener, and now we have a Twilight Council, so RunaMoK is going to have a hard time keeping up here. As RunaMoK, he's not going to go for the 1-1-1 before CC, we'll get his CC eventually, and looks like he wants to set up for a bit of a drop.
Drop indeed, we don't mind coming out. Meanwhile, the Reaper's going to come back in. Yes, it has full hit points again because Reapers regenerate, just in case no one knew that. 12 years later. But actually, it only came in Legacy of the Void, right? Or no, Heart of the Swarm.
Heart of the Swarm, I think, yeah.
Because there was that broken 888 build where you go like 8 depot, 8 racks. What was the other 8? 8 barracks?
Oh my god.
No.
That sounds horrifying.
Yeah.
That's
why I remember it.
Was that back when Reapers could just kill buildings? Was that back when?
They changed it. The KD8. Oh my god. They made the KD8 grenade weaker. Yes. If you guys want to know what Reapers were like here in Wings of Liberty, just play the campaign. Play the Wings of Liberty campaign. Unlock all the Terran upgrades. That's literally what it felt like as a Zerg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. Like 4 Marines.
Yeah, we have 4 Marines moving out. I like how we're like, yeah, mate, the Wings of Liberty Terran was broken. By the way, we had Broodlord Infestor.
Yeah, true. Yeah, not wrong. I mean, I could never control Broodlord Infestor. So.
Fair enough.
I was 14 years old. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Light. We have no synergy today. We're cutting each other off. It's just me cutting you off.
It's okay, Papi. It's because we're both excited.
It's not okay. I just cut you off to apologize again. Oh my god, and the Widowmine drop comes in. StarDuck does react. This might though. Oh. Right. You see what I see? I see 7 dead probes.
Oh my!
Well, I don't see them because they're dead.
I was gonna say the same thing. I don't see them. I don't see the probes anymore, Poppy. Where did they go? Yeah, we did see StarDuck react to the Widowmine drop, but unfortunately, he didn't spit off his probes. So a lot of probes are gonna be going down here. We also saw the scout of the Twilight Council eventually by that Reaper. StarDuck is gonna be moving out across the map though. Counting our gateways here, we do have 4 gates. Blink as well. Gonna be quite aggressive. RunaMoK. What does he have at home to defend?
I'll tell you what, he doesn't have it's 2 Widowmines because they're across the map. But Stalkers, he's got a bunker. That's gonna be helpful. He's got a tank as well. And I don't mind this tank positioning too. I would really like it slightly more forward. It's a bit of passive defense. But you do see he's covering the ramp in case StarDuck goes up the ramp. But yeah, pretty. RunaMoK's playing pretty solid so far. Even a tank in the main as well as he sends a Raven out to harass. So he's feeling pretty comfortable that, with his Widowmine scouting what StarDuck's doing, that it's not all in, and it's just a pressure that he can dedicate a little bit of defense to.
Exactly. It took a little bit to get this second tank up and running, but StarDuck had happened to go towards the natural first, so RunaMoK had plenty of time to reposition. We do have a little bit of a drop here into the main base, but again, RunaMoK responding quite well to this, responding with his Marines and not allowing anything to be dropped.
Speaking of dropped, thank you Ozprodos for dropping a gift sub to Chase_SC2. Very kind.
Thank you so.
Oh my god.
Massive shout out to Ozprotos. At the same time, we have another Widowmine drop in towards the main base of StarDuck. At the same time, Ravens come in for a little bit of harass. At the same time, the Warp Prism comes in, but doesn't quite do that much damage.
But, Light, can you not interrupt when I'm talking about myself, please?
Oh
my god, the Warp Prism goes down. Light, talk about the game. What are you doing?
The Warp Prism, it does end up going down in the top right-hand corner. And yeah, this is gonna kind of set StarDuck a little bit behind here. Like, he is still taking up behind this, and he's taking a third base, but despite his opener, despite all this aggression that he attempted to pull off, he wasn't really able to do too much.
Yeah, and I think this push, if it's coupled with the combat shields, it's going to be quite a deadly push. RunaMoK's really maximizing his DPS and his strength here because he's hitting before StarDuck has a lot of splash out, and Bio is, it's most prone to splash. Likely StarDuck's going to get the Colossi out, but his standing arm is quite small, there's no sentries, and I feel like this could be a 1-2 punch from our Australian Terran player here.
Yeah, the defense is going to be really tight for StarDuck. He does have a Colossi on the way. It's going to finish up just in time for this push. A lot of swipes are going to go off on these Marines. The Marines aren't melting, but the tanks get in range.
Yeah, he's actually engaging with the shield battery here. Does barely keep the Colossus alive. Raven coming to assist, and actually with this warp in, it looks like StarDuck, he's holding strong for the moment. He might even be able to clean this up, but there is those two tanks as well, and with reinforcements coming in, it looks like he might just overpower the Protoss.
Oh my god, yeah. The tank focus firing was on point. The Colossi does eventually go down, and RunaMoK takes game number 3.
Indeed, Light. He did take game 3. Yeah, that was a good observation. But yeah, no, that was surprised to see see RunaMoK. Seems to be playing very well this tournament. I do know he's been playing quite a bit lately, but I never kind of put him on the I always thought StarDuck was one of the tiers above. He's a very strong player, but then again, we know StarDuck hasn't been playing very much apart from Kerrigan Survival 2 for quite a while. So, pretty strong performance by our Terran here.
Yeah. I mean, he is one game away from qualifying for ANZ Champs. I was gonna say that StarDuck he typically does have some pretty strong performances, especially in DreamHack. But it's if he's able to avoid the Terran. This is his most hated matchup. He struggles against this. I was talking about it earlier. I do think that he has a little bit of a mental block. He was very depressed when he saw that he would have to face RunaMoK in the end to try and qualify here. And yeah, RunaMoK, showing that he's no slouch. Even though he's not the strongest player in the region, like, he can get some really good results, and he's so close to qualifying, but.
Yeah, and I guess as you said, like, avoiding the Terrans, luckily 2 of them have already been invited and see they qualified in the first qualifier. Just also no Zergs in either qualifier invites, just sort of make the observation. But, no, it's been, I know, Mighty Kiwi and Peppy, they got a bit close in yesterday's qualifier, so hopefully, is this the final place, or there's two to sort of qualify today, correct?
Yes. 2 players qualify. This is the first qualifying match in the upper bracket, and then from here we go to the lower bracket as well. So regardless of who loses here, they will have another chance, another opportunity to qualify.
They will indeed. Like, that's a good thing about multi-day qualifiers, or at least multi-spot qualifiers, is even if you go up against like the best person, the favorite, you still have that opportunity in the lower bracket to go forward yourself. And yeah, so either way, of course, players want to qualify straight away, not have to worry about it, but there is a second lifeline if they can't win this series.
Oh yeah, definitely. So there's not too much pressure on these players, The pressure comes a little bit later, as we are getting into game number 4, and spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Australian Protoss player representing the CranKy Ducklings, one of our very own, #NoBias. It is StarDuck.
And we have spawning in the bottom left position. It is the Terran player in the red trunks, representing Robin Hood's band of merry men. It is RunaMoK.
Where are we going, Bobby?
Where are we going?
Where are we going?
SCV has like an imbalance in its ears. It's like it's trying to get to the base.
As it walks, it leans to the side. It's oh no!
No, it's adjusted itself. It's found the little compass that
yeah.
got from the SCV's disability support unit. Oh, Evo. So not Evo, engineering block.
Yeah, I kind of like this. So yeah, he takes the long way around. He avoids the probe scout, also he can get across the map and throw down that Engie Bay. And it's going to take a while here for StarDuck to get eyes on this, and it's going to have a lot of HP by the time he does.
It will indeed. And StarDuck, he's going to scout it. He's going to turn around and be like, oh my god, I can't believe you're doing this. Looks like he's choosing to rally the Zealot across the map actually, and there we see engineering bay pretty much close to completion now. But it looks like a Reaper as well going to be following up. So I guess a bit of the purpose here, kind of force out the Zealot and then harass the Zealot for the Reaper. So it'll be interesting to see if StarDuck goes at a Adept or a Stalker here from this gateway next up.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I assumed that StarDuck was gonna go for an unnatural natural, especially because of how much HP this Engie Bay has. And it looked like he was considering it, and RunaMoK did go and check with his SCV, but it looks like no, he commits to the Zealot. He is gonna try and DPS this down and go for a much later base instead.
Yeah, we've even seen some players. I don't know who it was, but we were casting light, and there's a player that took the triangle third as the natural.
Yeah.
There's that option, but again, it looks like StarDuck's just going to be dropping a pylon in the bottom right corner of the map. Maybe throw down something a little bit tricky. We reckon a Stargate. He does have Warp Gate on the way. Or it could be maybe a Proxy Dark Shrine. That's always fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to a Twilight Council and a Dark Shrine, to be honest. I do like this response to being delayed here for StarDuck. He does, of course, show that he is expanding, but he does have that cheeky probe here, getting ready to throw down some kind of tech. There is that Twilight Council at home. Oh.
I love how you said the probe was going to throw down the tech and just went home.
I know. I want to believe in the Dark Shrine, okay? I want to believe that the probe is going to come back and throw down the Dark Shrine, but he's coming back! He's coming back! Let's go!
Yeah, he is coming. He's coming back. Did that Reaper even scout the Twilight? Yes, it did. That's kind of interesting. Because if he did just proxy it, yeah, it would have gone up. But anyway, we have a Hellion.
Oh!
Proxy Robo. Oh my gosh.
Oh my.
I kept saying Lord and Gosh Light, and it came out as Losh.
There it is! Oh god. So StarDuck opted not to proxy the Twilight Council but the Dark Shrine instead. We have that Robo for the Prism as well, and things are gonna get interesting here. Of course, Terran, they have access to scans. They do have that energy available to them to help provide some detection, but if RunaMoK mills at the wrong time, these DTs, they can get out of hand.
That they can indeed, as we see. Is it going to be a Raven here from RunaMoK? Yes, it is. Man is reading the room. And he's got a bunker up as well. StarDuck just scouting, checking the SCV count, scouting to see if there's a gas at the gas taking it natural. We've got a blink foe up here as well. So StarDuck's going for a kind of a multi-layered plan here. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm not sure how much damage she'll get done with the Raven out, but I've seen really good Protoss players, even with the Raven, just dance around it and just play phenomenal. So even though it's looking good for RunaMoK, don't count out StarDuck yet.
Yeah, there's also kind of, oh no, as you say that, the Hellion comes across the proxy, does spot the Robo. If it goes a little bit closer, we'll see the Dark Shrine as well. The DCs are being morphed in, but again, RunaMoK has eyes on at least some of this.
He does indeed. Does he see the Dark Shrine with that Hellion? No, he doesn't actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so still a bit of a surprise. The DT's going to come in, drops one. The Raven coming, he's going to go, oh no, I better get out of here. Saves one DT, but yeah, pretty reasonable hold. Only one SCV going down. Oh, loses the other DT as well.
Yeah, loses 2 DTs for 1 SCV and a tank. I mean, getting the tank was pretty good, don't get us wrong, but I'm sure StarDuck wanted a little bit more. It is a bit of a shame that he did get scouted. I mean, the Raven was staying at home anyway. Yeah, at least there are layers, as you were saying. StarDuck is like Shrek.
Yeah, StarDuck, he's like an onion or Shrek. There's layers to his plan. And again, I was going to say, again, this Warp Prism can get more damage done, but it looks like it might be in a bit of trouble here, like.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Look,
It's okay because we have another layer.
we have a third base, Poppy. We have a third base, and Blink just
Yeah, the
finished.
fourth layer.
It's okay.
But yeah, that's okay. That's what we have. Yeah, it looks like it could be a strong +1 time here from RunaMoK. He's got 3 barracks now. Just throwing down a rack. Probably gonna grab these 2 medevacs and hit on these +1 finishes. This Hellion is still alive, which is pretty cool. But again, this is reading a little bit like the previous game light, but just without the Robotech because StarDuck went for the DT drop. I feel like there's gonna be a strong 2-base timing from RunaMoK. And again, I'm not sure how StarDuck's gonna hold it without the splash.
Yeah, exactly. We saw that he almost did hold it with that Colossi. Like that was again a tight hold in that previous game. But here he has to rely on just gateway units. A little bit ambitious. He's going for double forge for those double upgrades. 1-1 going to be on the way soon. And StarDuck's probe count is looking quite healthy here at 53. Maybe a probe is going to go down. But yeah, as you were saying, that push from RunaMoK, it's coming soon. His upgrade is going to finish up in a couple of seconds.
Yeah, looks like it will too. StarDuck again, just being a little bit kind of, keeping tabs on the map, keeping tabs around his army as well. This will delay the push as well. He does have Stim, but without medevacs, does not really want to have to commit here. I'd like to see just hold the high ground because he doesn't really need to, kind of trade off shade units here. This Viking actually going to 1v1 a Stalker, and it looks like the Stalker's going to die, and the Viking's going to die too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Back to you.
that was that he did get a little bit of breathing room here. RunaMoK able to finally take control of that low ground. Despite all those upgrades finishing up, he is going to take a 3rd CC, and he's not feeling too confident right now. He ends up splitting up his army, and this drop on the right-hand side may get a little bit isolated. Oh my god!
Oh my god, he saves the units. That's crazy, man.
That's crazy. The target firing wasn't there.
I'm starting to feel bad for StarDuck.
I mean, he's going to be able to clean up this army anyway. It could have been a little bit more efficient, but at the same time, we have a little bit of Raven harass. 5 probes are going to be going down. But still, he does get that double drop.
He does indeed. Like, yeah, it's looking like StarDuck. He does have the 3rd base, and actually, if RunaMoK doesn't hit soon, he's going to lose this advantage. He said getting a 3rd base himself, but StarDuck's already been mining for quite a bit, and even though his worker count isn't the highest, considering he didn't get much damage done, he's looking, the longer this game goes on, it's looking better. But actually, maybe he's playing a bit of hero style.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a couple of Wooderman shots are going to be going off, but the Bio Army isn't looking that strong here. StarDuck doesn't want to be fighting in range of that tank, but doesn't trade too poorly. Loses a lot of Zealots, sure, but StarDuck, he's got a 4th behind this. Like, he's just going for a mass gateways, only working off of 2 gases.
2 gases indeed. He's got a gas at the 3rd too, but it's not saturated, and it looks like he's just gonna even throw down a 4th base and just try and overwhelm RunaMoK. We kind of see that he's got Widow Mines, he's got Siege Tanks, he's got Ravens. His army's very it's not a hard-hitting, fast mobility, a very mobile army, even though he's got to move out right now. So maybe just looking for an advantage to jump on it when he moves here, and it's like this could be the chance that he's been waiting for.
Yeah, exactly. Like, StarDuck has been trading relatively well, all these past engagements. His army supply isn't looking quite high here, though. Doesn't have a prism to reinforce. Did just waste his charge on these rocks. Has to be careful not to engage too soon.
Not too soon, not too late. There's 6 DTs and DT Blink on the way as well. Like, yeah, I'm kind of thinking here, if RunaMoK doesn't really get much damage done now, he's going to lose this advantage in army that he has. It's already looking, pretty close now, despite StarDuck's army looking quite a bit low tech. But yeah, the Widow Mines, there's only 4 mines now, and he's kind of got them scattered around looking for drops or whatever. But it looks like RunaMoK's playing a really slow-moving game, slow-moving style of turrets and mines. But he's just, yeah, it looks like he just wants to play late game maybe.
Yeah, it looks like maybe earlier he wasn't feeling too confident with his push, so he just didn't go for it, and now that timing is come and gone. Meanwhile, we have a massive Zealot warping in towards the natural base. Wooderman shots are going to be going off, but a lot of workers are going down. I guess to equalize the workers that StarDuck is losing to these Liberators and Ravens, as both players end up losing 5 of these workers. RunaMoK is going to get his 3rd up and running, but StarDuck, he's got his own 4th. He finished up 1-1, 2 2s on the horizon, and RunaMoK, I think he's kind of he's forgotten about his own upgrades.
Yeah, and he's still up in supply a little bit. He does have a really nice army, and it looks like StarDuck's maybe identified and he's just going to shoot out these rocks. The one thing I do feel like I do have to say is that maybe RunaMoK has kind of figured out that his army, even though it's a little less mobile, it does scale better than StarDuck's. Until, you know, you except for kind of like just before the Protoss maxes out is where the Protoss would want to attack. And actually, this could be a bit of a mishap here as StarDuck gets on top of his split up army.
Yeah, once again, RunaMoK fighting without his factory units, whether it is without his tanks, without his winter mines. These medivacs are going to be focused on one after the other. This time, StarDuck will catch them, and this is a massive pickoff here. Like, a lot of the bio has been a couple of times this game already thrown away by RunaMoK.
Yeah, and then there was a bit of a zealot run by towards the third base as well. It looks like he might be going for another. No, just re-collaborating with his forces. But yeah, it's kind of it when you have an advantage such as an army like that, you don't want the army to be split up because now it's an advantage is StarDuck. He's up to 70 pros versus 58 of RunaMoK, and looks like he might end up gearing up to take an extra base. Or maybe not, but yeah, RunaMoK. Does he have a fourth in the way? He's just dropping it now. I feel like StarDuck. I wouldn't engage here personally, but yeah, it looks like he's in an okay position now.
I mean, he's getting ready to surround RunaMoK. You know, the Zealots are coming in towards the north. His main army is on the right-hand side. We do have an anti-armor missile, but RunaMoK's main bioforce is being pulled away, and now his tank is exposed.
Yes, his singular tank is indeed exposed, and this is going to be awkward now for RunaMoK. His forces to defend. SCV is getting pushed out as well, and now he's just getting fully surrounded. As you said, like, Ghost dropping EMPs, but it might just not be enough. There's a lot of zealots and SCVs are full, but there's not enough fire on the ground.
Yeah, the comeback is real after stumbling in the early game, and things were not looking good for StarDuck at all at the start of this game. We were kind of writing him off at some point. He brings it all back, and he ties up the series 2-2.
And that means, like, we're going to an ace match for our first qualifier.
Let's go, Papu. We are going for that ace match. And yeah, really curious play from RunaMoK because he was hitting like he was about to hit a really strong timing with all of his upgrades. And then when they finished up, he didn't move out. Like he was just kind of stuck at home. It was almost as if he was maybe a little bit afraid of what StarDuck had. He was lacking in confidence a little bit. I'm not too sure as to why, especially after shutting down the War Prism and the DTs. Yeah, he opted to stay at home instead, to take a third and go for some drops. And yeah, it did kind of give StarDuck a way to come back.
It certainly did, light, and you give Protoss enough breathing room. They just kind of find a way. Say that, but yeah, do you have to recognize there was a strong kind of timing that RunaMoK could have moved across the map post StarDuck's DT harass it, didn't get much damage done at all, but he just didn't choose to. And StarDuck he chose to kind of play a bit of a higher economic style, which was prone to to a counter attack that did not come, and eventually he just ended up just taking good trades across the map. It wasn't anything special. RunaMoK maybe just considering he was playing a little bit turtly. I'm surprised that he, sent little squads of units on the map as he did. Against Blinkstalkers and Mass Chargelet.
Yeah, and StarDuck was able to take full advantage of RunaMoK in those positions. So very well played there from StarDuck. Again, very tenacious play as well. The fact that he, despite having a rough start, he did not give up whatsoever. And he was able to find his way back into this game. And now we have that ace match. And I was curious as to what the vetoes were. We have confirmation the vetoes were Moondance and Waterfall. And now we're finding ourselves on a map that we don't see too often.
Stargazers.
Just let that sink in. Yes.
Just in case no one knew what the map was called, because I often forget map names. I don't even know the one that we just played on. So.
Inside
I know
and
it's a good Zerg map. That's it. Yeah.
God damn it.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how the players approach this map. The pressure's on. Of course, it's not the last chance. There is a second qualifier, but you really want to win this map and not have to worry about taking on another couple of series. But I digress. Spawning in the top right position, it is our lovable Duck and the CranKy Ducklings. It is the Protoss player in the blue. It is StarDuck.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Stargazers, we have the Australian Terran player. He is red, representing the clan. Robin, it is RunaMoK. So, Chase.
Yes.
If RunaMoK is Robin, who's Batman?
Good question. I don't know. And I can't think of anything mildly clever to say
It's
either.
fine. It's fine. It's fine. I put you on the spot.
This guy, man.
Oh my god. I love you, Chase. I love you. And again, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining me. I'm just really excited. Honestly, we barely ever get to cast maps or games on Stargazers. It's always vetoed by every single race. No one likes it. No one loves it. Protoss sometimes try to make it happen. And for good reason. It's quite a peculiar map just because of, some of the features and... Who is it? No! No, Chase! Come back, Poppy, come back! Ah! He was put on the spot and he's out, Poppy, he's done. He's like, screw this, you're gonna cast it on your own, Poppy. Ah! Oh god!
Hello?
Chase, what happened?
I died.
Oh!
Your joke was so bad it killed me.
Where did you go, Chase? Where did you go?
I'm sorry, like, I left.
Oh.
I didn't want to hold anything up. And then I realized I'm disconnected. Even if I leave, I still hold you. Like, I'll just, you can just quit the stream.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do my best, Poppy. I'll do my best. Hold on. Give me a moment here. Give me a moment. Okay, the quality isn't going to be amazing, but we're going to make do. As I'm now streaming to Twitch and I'm streaming to Discord. But yes, thankfully...
I bet I ruined the Twitch stream.
It's okay, it's okay. Thankfully, the latency was at the start of the game. There wasn't anything crazy going on. There was no major engagement happening. And we can see that the features of the map are coming into play. RunaMoK is going to be going for his pocket base as is natural. Likewise, StarDuck is going to be waiting to take his own pocket for a little bit later on. Relatively standard openers, other than the fact that RunaMoK did open up once again with 2 gases.
Yeah, he did indeed. I think a little bit more, well, not more standard, but more kind of it provides a lot more options for a Terran going 1-1-1. Really flexible. Meanwhile, small little marine move out here, enough to catch a stalk or unwary. What are they called? Adept. And actually, if he continues to push here, is this actually pretty kill this one Adept flag?
I mean, there's with good enough micro, he can start a step forward, he can kill the Adept. There is no shield battery working off of 1 unit right now. Warp Gate is only just now about to finish up, and the Adept is going to go down.
It does indeed, and looks like he's just going to walk on in. Another Adept coming, but these probes should be able to hold, but this is a little bit of lost money time. Hellions!
Oh my god, the Hellions, they come in, and oh my god, the probes, they line up. They're going to get roasted behind this. Warp Gate does finish up. We do see the StarDuck did open up Robo. He is going for a Dark Shrine. It has gone unscattered. Shield Battery Overcharge is being popped to try and keep things alive.
And both Hellions are still alive too, and they're tearing it apart. Like, this is such a cool build, actually. RunaMoK has always had cool builds. Yeah, it looks like StarDuck eventually is going to stabilize and hold, and actually, he nearly lost 9 workers. He hasn't lost, really, his probe count's reasonable.
Oh, it is reasonable, but mate, I'm a little bit concerned because he did not scout the tech. He didn't see the Dark Shrine, despite the fact that he was in the middle line. We see a Widowmine drop follow-up, by the way. We do have an armory as well, so StarDuck is going to need detection. RunaMoK will also need detection for the DTs.
Yeah, everyone's gonna need detection. You get a detection, you get a detection. These probes need a detection with their sensors. They're faulty, and StarDuck is just gonna lose a whole mineral line.
He loses everything, but at the same time, the DTs get across the map. Do we have a scan available? We do not. A lot of workers are going to be falling as well. Everyone needs detection, and everyone is losing workers.
They are indeed, and RunaMoK needs to buy a little bit of time. They've both lost 13 workers apiece. Even a winner a natural, and
oh my god, a lot of workers are going down. Marines on the way, but again, these are vanilla Marines. You don't want to fight head-to-head against these DTs. Meanwhile, back at home, StarDuck, he's gonna... Oh god, what am I saying? Reset.
Yeah, there's still no detection. Observer just coming out now, and a Cyclone does come out to help push these units back, but I don't know who's the advantage here. I'd say StarDuck, right? Because RunaMoK's down to 3 workers.
Yeah, RunaMoK is down to 3 SCVs, but he's got Mules, Copium. As we do see the wind mines being cleaned up in the main base, we have 1 wind mine left here across the map. Raven is going to help out a lot, but the Cyclone, oh my god, the drop micro.
Drop micro indeed. RunaMoK's going to be microing for his life, even though he's got barely any workers. Oh, nice pick up there by StarDuck. I'm not sure this Cyclone can get much done against the War Prison pickup unless he focuses down. And GG gets caught as RunaMoK loses his final Cyclone. He could not deal with the mass DT. There was chaos, there was pandemonium all over the place. But congratulations as StarDuck takes the series and qualifies for ANZ Champs. Yeah, congratulations indeed. What a crazy final game we had there too. Lots of crisis management on both sides of the players there.
Oh my god. And you know what? StarDuck just messaged me and he said, Light, a voice called out from the sky and it said, make DTs.
And then it didn't work, and then the voice called out again in game 5.
Yes. And it had a 50-50 success rate.
Oh my god.
But it worked when I needed it to most.
It's very technically balanced, I'll say that. But yeah, congratulations to StarDuck. He's going to be the victor of, he's going to be our first qualifier on day number 2, or qualifier number 2. First qualifier.
Oh.
And meanwhile, RunaMoK fans, don't worry, he's still in it. Something like RunaMoK, he does have some cool builds. Not so cool to play against, but cool to watch, definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like what he was doing was crazy. You'd open up 1-1-1. He went across the map with 6 Marines, killed an Adept, and was with the help of those Hellions and with the help of StarDuck bunching up his probes. A lot of probe damage was done. It's just a shame that even though RunaMoK was in the main base of StarDuck, we saw that if he had just gone a little bit more to the left, he would have seen the Dark Shrine and he would have been preparing at home. Like things wouldn't have gotten as out of control as they did. Oh.
Indeed, that was an out of control game. Sorry again, guys, for Discord. Sorry, Light, for making Discord stream.
It's okay.
Yeah, if we just, I've learned you don't go exclamation mark bracket in the middle of the game to lose the game. So I'll suss out the bracket myself. Feel free to play along, you guys at home. Yeah.
Yeah, as we exclamation mark B in the chat, we have a gander at the bracket itself. The upper bracket is now complete. We have our first player making it through. And now we can have a look at the lower bracket.